Hello, gorgeous beauties. My name is Dragonflow, also known as Frank, and this is my host, Ozzy the dog, behaving and laying down behind me. So I want to call this video Live Simple or Die. We're living in an era where you go on YouTube and every advertisement is telling you how to become rich in 45 days, and there's a lot of self-help videos, and there's a lot of things telling you how to get your first Bugatti. I'm here to tell you the truth. Most of you will not be rich. Being rich is a byproduct of a lot of people being poor. It has to be leveraged. For a Bugatti or a Lamborghini to have any meaning, it has to be because some people have a Honda Civic or a Honda Accord, or even worse, some people are taking the bus. Most people will be middle class, and actually, as time progresses, most people are actually going to be poor and are going to have a hard time paying their bills. It's just the nature of life. I did a nice calculation. I may have mentioned it in other videos, but if not, it's worth mentioning again. I did a small calculation. So let's say you're in a couple from ages 25 to 65. So like you have a girlfriend and you're married for that 40 years. And we all know like some people are married longer, some people are married less long. But some of these expenses, you actually start having them before you're 25, and you're going to definitely have them after you retire at 65. So just bear with me. So this is the thing. Let's say you're in a couple from ages 25 to 65, which is 40 years, and you have these three expenses, which is your telephone, your car, and your internet. You and your significant other are probably going to spend $500,000 on these three things in that 40 years. Okay, so why is this important? You're like, well, who cares? Well, this is important because 2 generations back, maybe even 1 generation back, we didn't have these expenses. 1 generation back, maybe we had the expense of the car, but it was one family car, it wasn't two family cars. And we definitely didn't have the expenses of the internet or the cell phone. With the expenses of the internet and the cell phone, if both people in the couple have internet and cell phone, and both people have a car, you're going to be set back about $500,000. I mean, give or take, you could do the calculations yourself. And this is if you start at 25. Look how cute he is. I just say. Anyways, so this is if you start at 25. So the thing is, you actually want to simplify your life, or the majority of people will be poor and destitute in the next 5 to 25 years. There's this book I read called Walden's Pond, which already I had that character in motion, but it kind of amplified it. So like in Walden's Pond, he talks about living a really, really simple life and enjoying the moment, making as few unnecessary expenses as possible, and just kind of like just enjoying things as they go along. So one example he made is like, if you have to pay all day for your bus fare and I have time to walk, I might actually technically get there sooner because I'm not paying for the bus fare. Now this was an exaggerated example, but it kind of really makes a really good point. It's like a lot of people are paying for their car to rush to work. A lot of people are paying for their cell phone and their internet so that they could work more on their cell phone and on their internet. So in reality, like Henry David Thoreau, which was the author of Walden's Pond, who kind of took all this a big step back and was eliminating all these things he didn't need, and he was enjoying his life more, and he didn't have to stress out as much to do these things. Now, in our culture, even if you simplify your life, it's gotten to the point where expenses are still going to be ridiculous. Like food's ridiculously expensive, energy is ridiculously expensive, and so on. But I mean, if you add the added pressure of you feel you have to go on vacation once or twice a year, you feel you have to have a decent car, you feel you have to have a decent phone, then this could very well be that you will never reach in having the things that you want, and you might actually be bankrupt over the course of your career or your life, and this might actually be detrimental to your family. Which brings me to another interesting point. Like a lot of couples, a lot of relationships aren't lasting nowadays because the underlying issue is that the economy is ridiculous, and two people with both their ridiculous expectations can't manage to be in a relationship for like 2 generations or whatever, or take care of a family, or see their family through to the next generation. So the thing is, you really want to simplify or die. You want to cut all the things that you don't need. On my end, I literally bike everywhere. Like I'm 42 years old. It allows me to save money, not working a lot. I have a basic phone plan, which is just a phone. I have internet only at the house. And I have the internet just so that I can interact with YouTube, and I could interact on Instagram. But I mean, just not having a car saves me like $400 or $500 a month, and I really try and economize on everything that I could, not to be destitute at some point. And I make sure that I like invest, I save my money. I'm really responsible with that. So the thing is, I'm kind of on a rant. I'm like a bit waffling. What I ask you to do is try and see where you can make cutbacks in your expenditures. So there's a nice little exercise a couple of years back when coffee was about $1. It's like if $1 a day is $365 at the end of the year. Now coffee is about $1.50. So let's give it, your coffee is about $5.50 at the end of the year if you have a coffee every day. If you have a coffee and a muffin, you're looking at about $1,000 plus on coffee and muffin if you have them every day. Now this isn't to say that like you have to stop having a coffee and a muffin if you really, really want coffee and muffin. But if you're having coffee and muffin in the morning, maybe 2 muffins in the morning, you're having like a $15 lunch and then a $15 dinner, and so you just kiss goodbye to like 15, 30, and you're like, let's say close to $3 in the morning. Let's round it off to a nice $35. So you spend about $35 a day on eating out. So if you calculate this at the end of the year, it's a whole lot of money. So let's say instead of having the coffee at Tim Hortons or at a coffee place, you have it at home. That already saved you money. If you buy like whatever it is that you want to eat in the morning, cookies, muffins, fruits, whatever, and you don't eat them out, you're going to save yourself money there. Prepare your lunch and dinner. It's going to be more time consuming, but you're going to save money. And so here's the thing. It's like you might become rich. You might be one of those few people that becomes really, really rich. But if you're not on your way to becoming really, really rich, and you don't have like the idea of what's going to get you rich, because you need a mega cool idea, or you have to be really beautiful, or you have to be really talented to be rich in today's world. So if you're not in that position, then you just got to like focus on budgeting more. So just start with what you can make cutbacks on. If like you don't have to take your car as much, once in a while, walk. Like I had a friend 20 years ago, we were 20, we're like mega healthy. I'm like, okay, dude, we're going to walk to the bakery. He's like, no, take my car. And this guy's obese today. So it's like, yeah, no kidding. So make cutbacks where you could make cutbacks. It's like, don't take your car where you don't need it. Don't eat out as much if you can't afford it, or you feel you want to save more money. And just like really save your money. It's economize or die. It's like live simple or die. And that's it. Namaste.